Hi everybody, welcome to Chapter 16. Chapter 16 is our very last chapter in the course. We're going to talk a little bit today about mobile marketing and using apps basically for marketing structure. I find this interesting because the version of this class that you're getting this semester is the last time this class will ever run. We're switching this to a social media and app marketing class, so we're introducing the concept here, but the version that's going to be running in future semesters is going to be all focused on this stuff. So this kind of shows you how this has evolved and why this is an important development from our perspective. So we'll give you some information on this and talk a little bit about stuff that all of you probably already know, because most of you are connected and most of you are using smartphones to begin with, so I'm sure you're doing fine. So ask yourself how much of anything that you do takes place on your phone. Most people, a lot of it takes place on their phone, and a lot of it will, switched from using laptop computers to smartphones, and that's just the way things are because they're easy to carry around, they're convenient, and it makes your life a lot easier. So I think out of anything in this chapter, this is super, 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 super important. If I was looking at this and I was talking to, if I was presenting at a conference on ways to, do what I do, and that's basically my industry is education, but let's say it's a school district that's trying to market on education, I would really talk about kind of using mobile phones and using that type of thing to alert people on what your school is doing, but you're going to find that a lot of people aren't going to grasp and go with the technology until it's been around for a while. They've tried it, they've evaluated it, and then they see that it works, and then they're likely to buy into it. The majority of you that are in this class probably fall into this framework. You're the people that are probably more likely to explore technology and use your phones to purchase products, buy things, that sort of thing. You're going to find that a lot of the older population are going to be the late majority, or the people that aren't going to even adopt it at all. So I think this is important. I think understanding that there is a curve when people adopt technology, you have to know that if you're going to be using apps and social media in order to market a business or for anything that you do. So people will jump to new technology if they feel that it gives you a benefit that's not available elsewhere. If it's easy to use and learn, and you can try it on a limited basis, and then if it benefits you and it works for you, they're more likely to use it. So in the internet age, this occurs a lot more rapidly. It'll go across different types of products and international borders. You have to make sure that you collaborate enough where that the scientific and technical work together. What I mean by that is that it's targeting the right people and that the apps work and they don't crash your phone or they don't crash your computer. And you have to make sure that intellectual property is assumed and it's used appropriately so that you're not breaking the law when you're pushing your product out. So notice that the pace of innovation continues to increase. You're looking at the potential of the world market. The internet continues to grow, it continues to develop, and a lot of this stuff does as well. You're going to see that more people are going to adopt to cellular technology and personal computer technology as they did to television, radio, electricity, and the telephone. But cellular is developing quicker than any of these other models did. So you're going to see that switching to cellular devices might be something that's going to benefit you and in your business. So pervasive computing, this is available on page 443 in your textbook, and there is a table that discusses it. One of the key things is that you can access it whenever you need. Anyone can access it. It's available anytime. It's available anywhere. Any internet device can use it, and the access is secure when it needs to be secure. So smartphones are leading the growth. The people that are mobile-only users are growing, meaning that people aren't really keeping personal computers and using laptops as much as they used to. The advertising on mobile devices is close to 20.6 billion now. I think that's important to note because you're basically getting you're getting a way that you can customize and create mobile-only devices and applications that you need. So what can you do to penetrate different markets? We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through this chapter. So different campaigns, different devices can work. The book goes into an example of what the Discovery Channel did. This is available on page 445. This is showing basically a mobile tour around Australia using a virtual environment, having videos, a blog available, and images available, and it enabled you to see basically a virtual tour using just a mobile device. A lot of your technology related to mobile advertising on games will normally come from Asian countries. I think that's important to note. Most of the advertising devices, excuse me, will come equipped with games over in an Asian market. People play the games, and in order to continue playing the games, they have to view advertisements. So one of the other things that that you can do, you can look at different industries that are you can look at different industries and different ways to advance your mobile devices and your mobile applications. The book talks about the English National Opera, how they basically would text people at the last minute if a certain sale wasn't there and offer them extreme discounts on prices. Those of you that are in the Pittsburgh area, you know that the Improv, the comedy club that's downtown, has been using this pretty much for the last 5 or 6 years. If you go to the Improv and you pay full price for your tickets, my advice to you is you wait until the last minute, and if you're able to go on a Wednesday or Thursday night to a comedy show, they'll text you 12, 13 hours before the show, offer you massive deals because they just want to get you in there, because once you're in there, you're likely to buy drinks, you're likely to buy souvenirs, merchandise. So this model I like, but obviously I don't think anybody here is going to be going over to London and getting texts from the English National Opera, but it's similar to the model that the Improv Comedy Club uses. That's certainly worth you investigating. So I would argue this is important. This is available on page 447. This kind of goes over the importance of all of the strategic drivers of mobile marketing. You can certainly look at this. I would say that security is very, very, very important on a phone, even more so on a computer. You want to make sure that your payments don't have the opportunity to be stolen by third parties, and you need to provide security and privacy and explain the privacy permission laws as they're provided to you. So we obviously know there's a lot of different channels for you to do mobile marketing. And we know that you obviously have to plan when you're using your strategy as well. So demographics and devices change significantly from one target audience to the other. You're finding right now that your social network users, the average social network user is actually in their late 30s, early 40s. So that's kind of the industry that you're targeting. You're going with the younger market and the younger crowd, you're going to try to target different devices, different sort of ways to market to them. But your social media users, they're going to be people that are in their late 30s, early 40s. That's the current market right now, but that can obviously change. So I think this is kind of interesting. There's a big graph on page 450 on this, but let's target a couple of things. The key thing is the millennials, the people that are between the ages of 18 and 34. They're the ones most likely to have a cell phone, an iPod, an MP3 player, game consoles, and they're the ones that are going to be more connected to technology. Your Gen Xers, they're more likely to have desktop computers than they are than people that are younger than them are. I would argue desktop computers are something that is dying and going away of the past. As somebody that is an avid video gamer and video game collector, I also find too that is a younger generation thing, and I think that's certainly a market that's untapped as people get older. So, smartphone use in the United States. I did find this interesting, and I debate this. I read this in our textbook, and I asked myself, really, was this really the case? But I guess it was. We didn't have a lot of people that bought in to the notion of smartphones. When they first came out, there were a lot of people that were early adopters, and then people didn't switch over until really recently, in the last 2 or 3 years. I would argue that's because the phone companies themselves, your Verizons and your AT&Ts, weren't likely to give you better plans on data until recently, so people were fine using their old devices and using their laptops to access things. Now, with data plans, the smartphone use is changing, it's growing, it's developing, and I think the US is picking up where other countries really grew above them. So, apps are growing, apps are developing. You know this. This is one of the importance of why you would have apps. They give an example of the NHL channel. I think this is funny because those of you that are hockey fans that have ever gone to a Penguins game, I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to download the Pittsburgh Penguins app while you're at the game in the arena, and you can basically see what goes on in the dressing room before the game starts, and it's pretty cool. And then it connects you with the network, it connects you with the team, and it kind of gives you kind of like the inside look on something that you might not see elsewhere. We note that there's pretty much an app for everything. You don't need me to say that, but you can find an app for almost anything, anything you need. So, QR codes and near-field communications are certainly something that you need to be aware of. Two devices are connected when placed close to one another. That enables wireless communications. You might find this interesting, but the industry that really started the NFC was Nintendo, and they did that with their Nintendo DS. Their wireless device that they used enabled somebody to pick up in range if somebody else was using a DS, and it allowed wireless connection between one user to another user. And QR codes, it's the easy quick bar scan code that you can use to scan and obtain data on applications. So you know what one of these look like. Basically, they're available on places. You hold your phone up to it, you can get a deal or you can get a special. They're used in print publications as well. And then we have apps that are used specifically for shopping as well. I think, I use the Amazon price check almost all the time just to see if I can get something cheaper on Amazon, and normally I can, so I don't buy it in a store. So, these are things that are available to you and that you have to keep in mind. So near-field communications, we'll talk a little bit about that, kind of the way that that's used, and that can be implemented in your businesses as well. So podcasts, it's most audiences now are familiar with what podcasts are. If you're trying to do business-to-business marketing, it can be effective, but people are familiar enough with this. You need more than just a podcast to enhance your business or enhance your image or enhance your credibility. So we spoke about this a little bit when we talked about the legal ramifications involved in marketing. It's very similar for mobile marketing. You have to have the ability to both opt in and opt out. They have to give you the terms of what information you're providing. The targeting has to be appropriate. There has to be good security that protects from people stealing your information as well. So we are seeing digital changes. We're seeing the media is changing. We're seeing the technology is changing. Right now, it's in mobile devices, and that's why this is the last chapter in the textbook, and it's also why this course is switching to social media and mobile marketing, because it's what the industry is, and it's what the industry is going to be. So we show you this. This is on page 462. Gives you an example of showing you that everything is going to be search driven. It can be done, through social means, local means, or mobile means, but all devices, you're doing everything basically is a search driven device. So media conversion in digital convergence. You're seeing this happen just like it did in a lot of other companies. We had the massive merger in 2000, 2001 of AOL Time Warner. You're going to see a lot of this with mobile networks and app devices. They're going to be bought up by large businesses and large corporations, and they're going to start acquiring different firms and using it to advance their business practices as well. So that's certainly something to watch for. So the Huffington Post, I think this is interesting because those of you that have Facebook know that you'll have a lot of ads that come from the Huffington Post. I wasn't really familiar with it until I had a Facebook account, and when I did, I learned that the Huffington Post, their business model was something that worked. It was something that allowed them to see what your browsing preferences were, and they could give you content and channels and get you to like their site and provide you with specific things that you would need. And then they have other people that jumped in, started blogging on there. They have moderators that use their site, and it enables them to really get added feature in different content, and also customize it based on the users as well. So let me put the summary slide up. So these are all the big ideas that we talked about this chapter. Like I said, I think the biggest thing to note here is the fact that this course as it is changing. This is the last iteration of this course, and then we're moving more to the social media type of class, and that's certainly going to be interesting when we look at it that way. All of this is important. Different devices are going to offer different things. Mobile marketing is the way of the future, and it's certainly something you're going to have to consider moving forward. I'd like to thank all of you for a great class. I hope you got something out of it, and more importantly, I hope you have ideas that will help you in your future courses. I know a lot of people here are entrepreneurship majors, and you're going to go into this a lot more in depth than 200, 300, and 400 level classes. So hopefully this was a good introduction to you, and I hope you got something out of it. So thank you very much.